Good afternoon, one and all. Happy Republic Day. I wish you all to have a good patriotic feelings in your mind because mind is very important and we are dealing with the same concept, that is control and coordination. So we already started on this concept. Now in next upcoming classes I'm going to ask questions. Now if you know the concepts very clearly, it will be easy to answer. And this control and coordination, the basic concepts we are going to learn is how the different organs coordinate with each other. Is that related to the brain? So brain will control all other organs. And how the communication takes place between brain and other organs. And many more concepts we are going to discuss in this session, that is control and coordination. Okay, before starting the session, let me know whether my voice is audible today. Okay, I didn't get any reply whether all of you can hear me. Okay, fine. If it is audible, fine. Okay, fine. So, in control and coordination, we know that brain is very important part in animals which control all other organs. In the same way, in some primitive organisms, there will be nerve ganglion. It's not brain, nerve ganglion. And in few minute organisms, so they don't have brain or ganglia, just they react just like that. Now brain is very important in animals, and how come in the plants? Plants to control and coordinate with each other. And how they communicate? They don't have brain or nerves, but still they have control and coordination. Now let me start with human beings or in animals. I already told in animals, primitive organisms have nerve ganglia where they help in communication. In the same way, in higher organisms, like human beings, they have brain. Brain is very well developed organ which has control on all other organs, and they are the main part where the decision were decided. Information were stored. Communication, interaction, everything, it is connected to the brain. Now, how the brain connected to the environment? The brain is connected to the environment by a specialized bond, that is stimulus-response bond. PSS Real Show, thank you so much for your thumbs up, and also thanks a lot for visit. Thank you so much. Okay, we were discussing on the brain. Brain is very important to communicate, and how it communicate with the external environment. The brain communicate with the external environment with the bond. And what is that bond called? Stimulus response bond. What is this stimulus response bond? From the external environment, what we receive is called stimulus. either in a form of sight, sound, taste, pressure, pain, or chill or hotness, and even taste. And all these different stimulus we receive through the sense organs from the external environment. So sense organs plays a very important role to carry the stimulus. Who carry the stimulus in our body? Yeah, Kirti, it's irritability. Absolutely correct answer. The response to the stimulus, the creation of a stimulus response bond is nothing but irritability. Very good answer. Okay, just now I told who will carry the stimulus from external environment to the body, inside the body. Who will carry the stimulus? I didn't get any reply. Who is to carry the stimulus? Sense organs. The sense organs carry the stimulus from external environment to the internal environment. As soon the sense organs receives the stimulus, and how it will be connected? It will be connected in a form called electrical impulse. It is connected inside the body. The form is called electrical impulse. Yeah, sense organs is correct answer. Sense organs carry the stimulus. And how does it carry inside the body? It has to carry in a higher speed like electrons in the current. Hence it carries in electrical impulse form. And who are the agents to carry the electrical impulses? That is neurons. The nervous system has a structural functional unit called neurons. Neurons are the units which carry the electrical impulses. And thus the information passes to the brain through the nervous system. And the brain analyzes it. Now how you give the information to the computer, it will analyze and it gives the result. In the same way, the brain analyzes the information and send the response. Who will send the response? Who is going to send response? I'm waiting for your reply. Who is going to send response? Yes, it's Priyanka answered. Brain. Brain sends the response again through the nerves. Again through the nerves. And the nerves reaches the responses to the muscles or the glands. Two types of target organs. Now the response reaches to the target organ. This is the right answer. And which were the target organs? The target organs are called as the glands and the muscles. These are the target organs. Now this whole process is called irritability. Now sense organs sends the stimulus to the brain and brain sends the response to the muscles or glands, and that complete process is called irritability. And this could possible with the help of brain, spinal cord and the nervous system. All the three important concepts like brain, spinal cord and the nervous systems plays a major role in control and coordination. Now, we come to know that the brain has something to control. Sense organs and muscles and glands are there to coordinate. So thus, control and coordination are interrelated. So brain is there to control, and the muscles, sense organs, glands are there to coordinate. So all the times control and coordination go side by side. Now, I already told the three important parts of the control and coordination is brain, spinal cord, and the nervous system. And let me know clearly about the brain. I'll just share the screen. Let me check whether when I share the screen the voice is audible or not. Okay, let me check. Okay, this is transverse section of human brain. Human brain is protected by the skull or cranium, and it is surrounded by three types of meninges. It is surrounded by three meninges, and inside the brain we can differentiate into two parts, cortex and medulla. These are the two zones, outer cortex, inner medulla. These are the two zones. And when we differentiate the brain is differentiated into three parts, forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain. The three parts of the brain are forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Okay, when I shared the screen, the concepts was clear. There is no problem in my voice. It was not disturbing. Everything was audible when I shared the screen. Okay, fine. Everybody answering audible. Okay, then no problem. I'll share the screen. Okay, the brain differentiated into three parts, forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. What is the function of forebrain? The forebrain has cerebrum, thalamus, hypothalamus, and cerebrum is the largest part of the brain. And thalamus and hypothalamus, it will comes under midbrain, not forebrain, it comes under midbrain. And cerebellum, pons, medulla oblongata comes to an hindbrain. Now, what is the importance of forebrain? It is the largest part of the brain, and forebrain is the main thinking part, and it receives sensory impulses from all sense organs which has receptors to receive the stimulus. All sense organs have receptors to receive the stimulus, and there will be separate areas in the forebrain for hearing, smell, sight, taste, vision, etc. And there are different separate areas to associate with sensory information and to interpret the information and to store the information in the brain. Everything, it is completely associated with the forebrain. Forebrain is the seat of thinking, seat of memory, seat of reasoning, and seat of recapitulation, and seat of consciousness, and it is a main storage part of the brain, and also it is connected to all sense organs which have different areas to interpret the information. And we already know that cerebrum is the largest part of the brain, and it is most important as it has got more convolutions. When you see the forebrain, there are very too much of foldings, right? Inward foldings, and those inward foldings are nothing but convolutions. When the convolutions increases, the surface area of the brain increases. When the convolutions decreases, the surface area of the brain also decreases. Hence, convolutions plays a major role in deciding factor and also thinking factor and memory factor and also storage factor. So those who have more convolutions, their intellectual level will be high, and those who have less convolutions, their intellectual level will be less. And next is Thalamus Hypothalamus, which comes under midbrain. Hypothalamus is a part which controls the appetite, sleep, and water balance. Appetite, when to have the food, when we are feeling hunger, everything it is denoted by hypothalamus. The sleeping is also controlled by hypothalamus, and the water balance. Hypothalamus give instruction to the ADH hormone so that it allows to flow the water into towards the skin rather than the kidney during hot summer days. And if it get failed, such people are suffering from the disease called diabetes insipidus. Diabetes insipidus is the disease where the water control is not balanced by the ADH hormone, and such people having the disorder called diabetes insipidus. Diabetes mellitus is diabetes, sugar disease, that is different. That is associated to the pancreas, insulin. But here, hypothalamus ADH is related to diabetes insipidus. Okay, till hypothalamus, the concepts are cleared. Till hypothalamus, all the concepts are clear. Shall we move on to hindbrain? Yes, if it is clear, we'll move on to the next part of the brain, that is hindbrain. Now look at the base of the brain. There is a P-shaped, a spherical structure, that is pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is the master gland which control all other glands. Hypothalamus is considered to be master of master gland because it releases a hormone that stimulates the brain to perform the activities, that too particularly pituitary gland. And what are that hormones called? The hypothalamus releases releasing hormones. Hypothalamus releases releasing hormones, and that releasing hormones stimulates pituitary gland to release pituitary hormones. I'll repeat. hypothalamus releasing hormones, and the releasing hormones stimulates pituitary gland to release pituitary hormones. Thus, hypothalamus is considered to be the master gland. And next comes hindbrain. Just below the pituitary gland, you can observe the bulged part called pons. Pons directly associated with involuntary functions like breathing, respiration, and also mastication and facial expressions. And towards the right, if you look at the structure, there is cerebellum. And cerebellum is the second largest part of the brain. Cerebellum is second largest part of the brain, present at hindbrain location. Cerebellum, it plays a major role in controlling voluntary actions. What are the voluntary actions? Walking, riding a bicycle, picking up a pencil, running, athletics, postures, and all these muscular activities are voluntary actions. And these voluntary actions are controlled by cerebellum. Cerebellum involves in body balance. Easily it get affected by alcoholic consumption, and the people who are under alcoholic consumption, cerebellum doesn't work, and thus the people loses balance. The drunkard people loses balance because alcoholic component inactivates the cerebellum, and cerebellum completely loses its authority. As a result, drunkards loses the body balance. And next part is medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata, like pons, it also involved in handling the involuntary actions like heartbeat, blood pressure, salivation, vomiting, controlling blood pressure, salivation, vomiting. These things are controlled by medulla oblongata. Thus, the different parts of the brain perform different functions, and all these functions, it is divided in two zones, that is two hemispheres. The brain is divided into two hemispheres, right hemisphere and left hemisphere. And in the center we find corpus callosum. Corpus callosum. In between the hemispheres we can come across corpus callosum. The right hemisphere connected to the left side parts of the body, and the left hemisphere is connected to the right side parts of the body. Thus, if left hand is not working properly, then right part of the brain is affected. If right hand is not working properly, then left part of the brain is affected. So this is the information about the brain parts and the functions. And next is spinal cord. Okay, let me check whether you all cleared with the brain parts and functions. Let me check, because this chapter is very important. Full chapter is there for your board exam, because many chapters they have options. Some part has been deleted, few lessons has been deleted, but this complete chapter is there for your examination. We can't take risk, so we have to revise these chapters as much as possible. Okay, now which is the largest part of the brain? Let me know. Yes, it's Priyanka Varlakshmi Arpita answered. It is cerebrum. Cerebrum is considered to be the largest part of the brain. Yeah, Suguna, Rajini, Aishwarya, Deepa, everybody answered correctly. It's cerebrum. Now, which is the second largest part of the brain? Which is the second largest part of the brain? Yeah, it's Varlakshmi Priyanka answered. It is cerebellum. Yeah, Kirti, Rajni, correct answer. Sumangala, correct answer. Yeah, Kalpana, Shubha, correct answers. Deepa, you left one letter. And Suguna, correct answer. Okay. Now, which part of the brain controls voluntary actions? Which part of the brain controls voluntary actions? Which part of the brain controls the voluntary actions? No, Kirti, your answer is wrong. Wrong. Which part of the brain controls voluntary actions? Forebrain is wrong. That is not correct answer. Yeah, Sumangala answered hindbrain. In the hindbrain, which part? My question is direct. Which part of the brain? No, Rajni. No. Still, I have not entered the spinal cord. I am still in the brain. Okay, voluntary action is nothing but body movements, muscular movements, which is under our control. Okay, at least now tell me, which is the part which is associated with voluntary actions or muscular actions? Yeah, now it's Priyanka answered cerebellum. Cerebellum is the part which is associated with the voluntary actions. Voluntary in the sense running, skipping, riding, sleep, lying down, rising up, postures. All muscular movements are the voluntary actions. Yeah, cerebellum is the correct answer. Now everybody rectified your answers. Good. And now my next question is, which part of the brain involved in vomiting? Which part of the brain which involved in vomiting? Which part of the brain involved in vomiting? I already told just now, 5 minutes back. Yes, Varalakshmi Priyanka. It's medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata is a part which connects to the spinal cord, which involve in involuntary actions and also vomiting. Yeah, Rajni, Sumangala, Shubha, Vidya, Suguna, everybody answered correctly. Yeah, Kalpana, correct answer. My next question is, which gland is called as master gland? Which gland is called as master gland? Yeah, Deepa, correct answer for previous one. Yeah, Priyanka Arpita, correct answer. It is pituitary gland. Yeah, Revati, Varalakshmi, and Rajni. Everybody answered correctly. It is pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is called as master gland. And which gland is called as master of master gland? Which is called as master of master gland? Yeah, Priyanka, Arpita. Arpita of which section, C or D? Hypothalamus is the right answer. Master of master gland is referred to hypothalamus. Why? Why it is referred as master of master gland? Just few minutes back I told why hypothalamus is called as master of master gland. Just few minutes ago I told. Okay, put it in a simple way. Put it in a simple way. Yeah, good, Arpita. Good responses. Why hypothalamus is called as master of master gland? These are the questions which you can expect for your board exam. Okay, how it send information? How it send? Arpita, how it send? Yeah, you just have a look on Priyanka answer. Hypothalamus releases releasing hormone which in turn stimulates the pituitary gland to release pituitary hormones. So this is the right answer. Hypothalamus releases releasing hormone. Remember, releasing hormones are secreted by hypothalamus, and that stimulates the pituitary gland to release pituitary hormones. Thus, it is called master of master gland. Okay, this is very important question and it may ask in your examination. Okay, my next question is, which part of the brain which controls mastication and facial expression? Which part of the brain controls mastication and facial expressions? Yeah, it's Priyanka answered. Pons. Even Revati, Varalakshmi, Kirti, Rajni, Sumangala, everybody answered correctly. It's pons. Pons involve with some involuntary actions, along with that mastication and facial expressions. Okay, good responses. How the brain is protected? How the brain is protected? How the brain is protected? How brain is protected? Yeah, Revati, correct answer, absolutely correct answer. It is skull. Skull protects the brain. Very good. Yeah, Priyanka, it's cranium or skull. Both are correct answers. Yeah, Aishwarya, correct. Suguna, your answer spelling is wrong. Yeah, Rajni, correct answer. Cranium or skull is the right answer. Okay, these are the some of the different parts of the brain which involve in different functions. This time I hope the brain diagram will be given for your examination. Try to practice the brain diagram, and tomorrow class I'll just give 5 minutes. You want to write and show the diagram without seeing the brain diagram. Tomorrow there will be test, drawing test. Okay, without seeing, you just show me how to draw the brain diagram with labels. Okay. Okay, next we'll continue with the next concept, that is spinal cord. Spinal cord and the brain usually protected by the fluid called cerebrospinal fluid. Both spinal cord and the brain protected by the fluid, and that fluid is called cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, this is the one word. Horn-like structures above dorsal cords are found in our body, and this is the one vertebra structure. You can observe dorsal root or dorsal horn, ventral horn, and middle white part where it is involved with the associate neuron. And this spinal cord involved in the action called reflex action. Even sometimes the brain also involved with the reflex action. And what are such actions? It is completely related to the brain, associated with the head, that is blinking of the eyes, sudden response from the brain in a form of solution for a question. And these are the simple reflex actions that we can found because of the brain, and that is changing the size of the pupil and sudden movement of the chair. Just will think and without no reason will just move the chair, and thinking control. All these are the simple reflex actions sometimes decided by the brain. It is restricted to the brain. But when we speak with the reflex action is completely associated with the spinal cord. I already told simple reflex actions, even it can be taken by brain also, but related to the head. That is, suddenly without no reason we'll just move the chair, thinking, sudden thinking, and even movement of the pupil. Without no reason we'll do such things, and that is because of the brain. It's not spinal cord. But when we come towards the reflex action is sudden involuntary action by the spinal cord. Sudden involuntary action by the spinal cord. How it takes place by the spinal cord? Now, sense organs sense the stimulus through the afferent neuron or sensory neuron. Then it sends to the spinal cord, and without sending to the brain, the spinal cord takes the decision and it gives the response from the spinal cord to the efferent neuron or motor neuron to the muscles. When such things happens, when we touch on hot plate, when we put our leg on a thorn, and suddenly if you are going on a road, a sudden horn from the tempo or bus, it makes us so uneasy, without thinking we'll jump to the footpath. Without seeing the vehicle, we'll jump to the footpath. All these are the reflex actions taken by the spinal cord. In case if the brain has to take the decision instead of spinal cord, what would be the result? Spinal cord sends the message to the brain, and brain has to analyze, and it has to send the message response. By the time a palm touching to the heart plate would have damaged more cells. It has burnt much part of our palm. So in order to avoid this, in order to prevent the damage, spinal cord take the sudden decision, and that decisions are called reflex actions. And the path, that is from sense organs to the sensory neuron to the associate neuron, and then to the motor neuron and to the muscles. This complete path is known as reflex arc. Okay, you all had the problem with the audio. It was not clear now when I explained the spinal cord. Okay, completely nil. You didn't heard anything? Okay, just I was explaining about the spinal cord. Spinal cord involved with the reflex action, that is sudden involuntary action by the spinal cord, and sometimes even the brain will take simple reflex actions, that is dilation of the pupil, blinking of the eyelids, sudden movement of the chair without think. And sometimes thinking also involved, and those things are related to the brain. Simple reflex actions will also conducted by the brain. When we speak seriously about reflex action, it is completely connected with the spinal cord. Involuntary actions by the spinal cord is known as reflex action, and it is performed in a path called reflex arc. And what is the path comprise? The path has sense organs, sensory neuron, associate neuron, motor neuron, and the final muscles. Okay, then few people they heard, but many people they had a problem because of network. Okay, now we just completed the spinal cord. Now I'll go with the questions. Now let me know how far you all can answer. This is the time to go very clear, in-depth information, because I'm going very slow because this is chapter-wise revision. Okay, it's not any NTSA exam, so that I want to complete all the chapters. Okay, it is syllabus oriented. What the syllabus going on in the class, same thing it will be repeated here. Okay, simultaneously question and answering it will go. Okay. Okay, now what is reflex action? Put in a simple way. What is reflex action? I'm waiting for the reply. Good, Priyanka. Good. Good answer. Yeah, Kirti, even that is also correct answer, but you didn't mention from where the decision is taken. You want to mention spinal cord. Sumangala, so short answer. Yeah, Arpita, correct answer. Yeah, Meghana, good. And Rajni, correct answers. Very good. Okay, my next question. Which neuron carries the stimulus to the spinal cord? Which neuron carry the stimulus to the spinal cord? Which neuron? Yeah, Revati, correct answer. Yeah, Ishwara, even that is also absolutely right. Yeah, Priyanka answered it is sensory neuron. Sensory neuron or afferent neuron carries the stimulus to the spinal cord. Yeah, Arpita, correct answer. Yeah, Varlakshmi, correct. Yeah, Shubha, so late. Okay, correct answer for the previous question. Yeah, Meghana, correct. Yeah, Aishwarya, correct. Now my next question is, The reflex action, interpretation and analysis is done by which neuron? Interpretation and analysis of the reflex action is done by which neuron? Yeah, Priyanka, absolutely correct. Associate or relay neuron, both are correct. Relay is other name for associate neuron. Afferent neuron is other name for sensory neuron. Efferent neuron is another name for motor neuron. So each neuron has two names. Try to recall both the names. The questions may asked on neurons also. Yeah, Rajani, Kirti, Arpita, Vara and Pallavi. So Guna, everybody answered correctly. It is relay neuron or associate neuron. Okay. My next question is, from the associate neuron, the response is carried by the motor neuron to the target organ. Which is the target organ? Which is the target organ here? Yeah, Revati Aishwarya, correct for previous answer, previous question. Now, I posed already another question. Yes, it's Priyanka answered muscles. Muscles are the target organs. Yeah, Rajani, Vara, everybody answered correctly. So, muscles are the target organs. Yeah, Kirti, Arpita, Sandhya, yes, everybody answering correctly. The target organs are the muscles. Yes. Okay, now, how the muscles perform the function? Now we come to know that the sensory neuron carries the information or stimulus from the sense organs to the spinal cord, and finally motor neuron or efferent neuron carry the muscle responses to the muscles. Okay, now how the muscles perform the activity? How the muscles perform the action? Now this happens at the cellular level of the muscle cells, and there are special proteins. The muscle cells have special proteins, and the response when it reaches to the proteins will change the shape of the muscle fibers. When the response reaches to the special proteins, now not the muscles, the special proteins will change the shape of the muscles, either to constrict or to dilate. To constrict or to dilate. Now thus the muscle starts moving. or bending or stretching or jumping or escaping. Everything it is action given by the specialized proteins present in the muscles. I'll repeat this concept. When the response reaches to the muscles, the instructions are given not to the muscles directly. The instructions are given to the special proteins present in the muscle fibers. As soon the instruction is given to the protein change the shape of the muscle, either stretching, bending or something else. Thus, the muscles perform the action, and that is because of specialized proteins present in the muscle fibers. And the last concept is neuron. Just have a look on the image. And this is called neuron. And from the axon, it enters to the nerve ending, where actually it joins again at the dendrite. Between one terminal of the neuron and other neuron, there will be gap, and that gap is called synapse. In the synapse, there will be secretion of neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitter is secreted, and thus electrical impulse converts into chemical impulse. The electrical impulse now converts into chemical impulse, and just they'll take a jump. You just have a look how it takes the jump. A blue color dots are called neurotransmitters, the chemicals. Now they jump from one terminal to another terminal. That is one nerve ending and to the dendrite of another nerve. So synapse is a gap between two neurons. Synapse is the gap between two neurons. Now, how the information is carried through the neuron? Dendrite is the first region which receives the information and enters into the cell body, and through the axon and terminal button, and again it takes a jump to the next dendrite. And when it takes the jump, when there is a gap, and that gap is called synapse. And there how it takes a jump, now electrical impulse converts into chemical impulse, and thus it takes a jump in a form called neurotransmitters. And when it takes a jump, it reaches another dendrite, and same procedure will be repeated. Okay, when I share the screen, I hope few people they had a problem. They didn't heard clearly. At least you all gone through the images. One image is saying about neuron structure, where the information is carried in an electrical impulse from dendrite to cell body to axon, axon to terminal button. And at the end, it converts into neurotransmitter, that is a chemical, and takes a jump to the next dendrite. And that gap is called synapse. Okay, these things we come to know through the diagram. If it is clear, shall I pose the questions now? Okay. Which are the different parts of the neuron where the information is carried from the starting point to the ending point? Just give it in a flow chart. The information carrying parts in a neuron, that you place it in a flow chart. Now which part to which part, which part to which part, and which is the last part and which is the starting point. Okay, put it in a small words and in a flow chart. Okay, not in a sentences, just flow chart, words, connecting words. Okay, it completes within a neuron, Arpita, where it jumps to another neuron. There is no continuity. You just gave the flowchart till how it moves in one neuron, not it is showing the connectivity with the other one. Even Priyanka also, you ended with the nerve ending, right? Terminal button. That's all. And where it gets shifted, it is within a neuron. It's not moving towards another neuron. Everybody giving same answer. You're giving only one neuron information and you're not showing connectivity with another neuron. Yeah, Rajni, even you too, only one neuron information is correct. Even Arpita also. Even Meghana also. Why so much of confusions today? Okay, Ishwarya, give only how it converts at the gap. Okay, and where is starting point and ending point? I told where actually the information starts and where actually it ends, right? So nerve ending is not the end point. Dendrite is the starting point. Okay, that is correct. Ending point is not correct. Yeah, Arpita gave continuation. Okay, the people who stopped your answer from there, Arpita gave the continuity. Now that continuity is correct answer, Arpita. Yeah, Priyanka gave the answer, but you left synapse. Varsha gave the answer, but instead of synapse, she gave the clue, that is jumped. Jumped in the sense that is a synapse region. Okay, Varsha answer is accepted. Yeah, Kirti, correct. And even you left synapse. Nandita, only half answer is correct. No continuation. And Arpita giving only fraction of answers, one and bit at a time, not complete answer. Huh? Yeah, Shubha, even your answer is also incomplete. Okay. Which is a structural functional unit of nervous system? Which is structural functional unit of nervous system? Yeah, if you give separately, Kirti, where I should think synapse it will come. If you give in a flow chart, okay, after nerve ending, synapse, and then dendrite of another neuron. If you give like this, the answer will be complete. Now you left the synapse and now you gave the synapse, okay. What you left, you gave. But where actually it will come, it is not shown in the flow chart. Right, Kirti? Very good, Revati. Excellent presentation and very good answer for the previous one. Harshita answered correctly. Harshita, Revati, Priyanka, Arpita, Shubha, Rajini, Valakshmi, all of you answered correctly. It is neuron. Neuron is considered to be structural functional unit of nervous system. This is the correct answer. Now, what is synapse? What is synapse? Okay, Harshita is your sister. Okay, fine. Which class she belonged to? Okay. Then she might have known all these concepts. Yeah, Lakshmi, it's correct answer. The gap between two neurons is called synapse. Very good answer. Yeah, Priyanka, correct answer. Yeah, Varsha, good. Yeah, Arpita, correct. Neurons, not neuron. Neurons. It should be plural. Okay, my next question is, which part of the neuron which carries chemical impulse, which part of the neuron which carries chemical impulse and where it ends? Which part of the neuron carries chemical impulse and where does it end? Only chemical impulse. No, Arpita. No, Sumangala, wrong. Wrong, Nandita. And its Arpita answer is not so clear. It's not so clear. Yeah, Aishwarya answer is accepted. At synapse. At synapse is accepted. Correct answer. Okay, many of y'all waiting to see which is the best answer but not replying. Y'all just watching who will answer the best way. But if you try, your answer may become the best answer. But everybody should try. Yeah, correct, Priyanka. It's correct answer. Absolutely correct. Okay, the answer is so simple. Where actually the chemical impulse is formed in the neuron, right? The chemical impulse is formed in the neuron at the synapse by the terminal button and it enters into dendrite. Terminal button, from terminal button to dendrite of another neuron. In short, it is synapse. At the synapse, the electrical impulse converts into chemical impulse. Okay, in this session we clearly come to know about the parts of the brain and the spinal cord and its function, and we come to know the structural functional unit of neuron and its part and its function. And definitely diagram based questions may asked in this chapter. Diagram based questions may definitely asked in your examination. So have a deep look on your diagrams. Tomorrow when you all come for the class, you want to write the diagram of human brain and neuron without seeing. These two diagrams you all should get practiced today itself, and tomorrow you all should write without seeing. I'll give only 5 minutes for both the diagrams. Okay? So today we just completed control and coordination among the human beings. But tomorrow let me study in detail about the coordination in plants. Okay, thank you for your visit and for your good responses. Thank you one and all. See you all soon tomorrow exactly at 3 o'clock. Exactly at 3, I'll commence the session. Coordination in plants tomorrow. Okay, thank you one and all.